All right, good morning, everybody. Sunday morning, rain is pouring, at least here in New York. Answers by guess. You got this lovely mug today. You got Nick on the phone. Say hi, Nick.
Hello, everybody.
All right. We're going to jump into NFL Week 5. Definitely remember first bye weeks, bye teams this week: Atlanta, Denver, New Orleans, Washington. These are definitely people you don't want in your lineup. You know that. So let's get started. I'm actually going to talk about my Jets. As you see, I'm wearing my Jets gear again. Every week been wearing my Jets gear. Kind of surprised at them being 2-2, going up against a Cleveland Browns team that does have some offense. Duke Johnson is actually one of my favorite players this year so far, taking some carries away from Crewell. Nick, my first question to you is, let's talk about these running backs from both teams, actually. I mean, you got Powell, who looked great last week, so same thing with McGuire. And then what's going on in Cleveland as far as, Crewell and Duke Johnson?
Yeah, Powell and McGuire, especially Powell, if you have them today, and you're in a little bit of a pinch, you're going to want to play those guys. No Forte today. I do see this game being, actually I think a little bit on the higher scoring end. And you got two pass catching backs in New York with McGuire and Powell. So if you're in a PPR or a half-point PPR, I like both of them. Especially, obviously Powell more. In Cleveland, you've got Duke Johnson. Play him. I know somebody that's playing Derrick Henry over Duke Johnson. They asked me who they should play this morning. I would play Duke Johnson, and like he said, so that means Henry will go for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, but we'll talk about the game later. They said that, Duke's not going to be the starter over Crowell. They said that, Crowell's going to get going. Hugh Jackson loves Isaiah Crowell. But I like Duke today a lot better. But I could see Crowell doing okay too. The thing about Cleveland is they really don't have any, true weapons. I mean, they got their 2 tight ends, DeValve and Joko. But other than that, a slew of bums at receiver. Ricardo Lewis, Rashad Higgins. They brought in a guy that they had a couple years ago. They brought him back to play in the slot. Kenny Britt, they absolutely hate him, so I'm hoping somebody plays Kenny Britt against me.
You can't catch the ball, man.
I really like in this game is Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I mean, he's had 4 or 5 catches both the games since he's been back. I could see him getting about 8 or 9 today. Cleveland is terrible against the tight end. If you go back and you look at the box scores from their first 4 games, they can't stop the tight end. Jesse James had a ridiculous game against them. Tyler Croft had a ridiculous game against them. This is Austin Seferian-Jenkins Day. If you have him, put him in as your tight end. He's probably top 5 tight end this week.
Wow. What's funny is that in Fantasize Me League, I was looking at picking him up, dropping off Griffin. As soon as I went to go and grab him, our good friend Chad ended up picking him up within a minute of me trying to pick him up. So shout out to Chad, always on that waiver wire, always picking up free agents. All right, let's go on to the next game. Buffalo, surprising team, 3-1 against Cincinnati. I don't know. I feel that Buffalo, Tyrod Taylor, LaShawn McCoy can definitely run the ball. You got Clay, who's looking like a top 5 tight end all the time now. Even Jordan Matthews showing up, let's talk about this Bills team, and let's talk about the Bengals on the other side, as far as maybe Andy Dalton, A.J. Green definitely having a little bit more of a in sync over since the change of offense. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think the Bengals win this game pretty easily. And, Buffalo obviously has looked like the much better team, but they really, aside from Clay and McCoy, really have no offense. I mean, they play Mike Tolbert quite a bit. but Matthews is actually not even going to play today. So it's Zay Jones as their top wide receiver, and he just does not have a good connection with Tyrod. So I think Cincinnati, Mixon's going to have his first really big game of the year today. I do have A.J. Green on my team. He's my top wide out in my league. I'm a little nervous, but I think he's going to get about at least 70 yards. We'll get his touchdown today. But I think this is going to be a big Mixon game for whatever reason. Gio will probably get a touchdown receiving. You won't see a huge game out of Tyler Croft like you did last week. I mentioned before, I think that was a byproduct of playing against the Browns. They're terrible against the tight end. So aside from, A.J. Green, Gio, and Mixon, this is kind of a little bit of a trash game. I mean, Clay and McCoy, sure. If you got to play him, you play him. But I think Cincy wins this game by double digits.
All right. Interesting, man. I didn't realize Matthews was out. Yeah, Zay Jones. Let's see what happens with him. Hopefully Mixon, definitely picks it up and gets a big game this game. Hope you're right. All right. The most intriguing matchup for me this week is Carolina at Detroit. I mean, Carolina looked okay last week against, New England's defense. Cam even rushed for a touchdown. Seemed like they were hitting all pieces there. Detroit, again, just such a scrappy team. Your favorite Matt Stafford. Let's talk about Carolina's, run game a little bit. Saw that they were mixing it up, putting Stewart a little bit more back there, moving McCaffrey over to the slot. And then as far as Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick not getting any kind of love, I feel like, man. He ended up with probably 1 point in most leagues last week. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, Abdullah's he's been getting it done. I think, he'll have another relatively solid game today. So if you have to play him in a big league, a large league, I think you play Abdullah with a little bit of confidence today. This game's kind of a weirdly random game. If Carolina, everybody's high on Carolina now after they beat the Patriots. Before this Thursday's game, the Patriots defense just looked terrible. Carolina was at home in that one. Detroit's a much better team at home. You love Detroit's defense. They're starting to grow on me.
Yep.
I think Detroit's going to win this game. I think, I think this game's played in the 20s. Stafford, Tate, Marvin Jones, Abdullah, you're going to play those guys. I don't know what's going on with Ebron. I believe they played Daniel Fells about twice as many snaps as he played last week. So I wouldn't play Ebron unless I absolutely had to. Chances are, if Ebron is like your starter, there's probably Safarian Jenkins is probably out on the waiver wire, or Ryan Griffin, who you mentioned before for the Texans. I'd scoop them and play them over Ebron today. As far as for Carolina,
I wanted to ask you about those wideouts, man. Like Funches, Benjamin. They both got some love last week, but Funches definitely was the higher wideout there.
Yeah, I played both of them today, but again, I really like. They're starting to grow on me. You loved them all year. This Detroit defense. I think Detroit is a way better team at home. They only put up 7 points last week on the road in Minnesota. The week before that, they should have won the game. They scored 14 minutes. My bad. The week before, they should have won the game. So it's been two relatively subpar weeks from Stafford, but he's way better at home. I think Detroit wins this game, but I think you play your key players. I would definitely play McCaffrey and Stewart if I had to. I'd play my Funches. I'd play my, in the wide receiver 3, or if I'm in a flex league, he's a good flex player this week. Calvin, of course, you're starting. No huge sleepers in this game. TJ Jones, I was high on him last year. He's just not getting it done. I'd be surprised if he does something without Galladay in there. He hasn't been able to do anything in 2 weeks. This game will be played in the 20s. I'm going to play Stafford because I'm going to try and block Golden Tate, who I'm playing against. Just in case Tate happens to go off today. I think if anybody does go off today, I do think it's Golden.
All right, man. Interesting. Yeah. What about Ed Dickson, man? Any comments on him? I know you're talking about tight ends. They're a dime a dozen, it seems like, nowadays. Do you see him having an okay game?
Yeah, I kind of avoided him on purpose because I mean, there was a time, maybe about 6-7 years ago, that I really liked that Dixon in Baltimore. And he just, even in that perfect situation, could just never get it done. Not a big fan of his. It's like people are expecting him to come in and be Greg Olsen. He's clearly not Greg Olsen. Yep. Will he do better today than he has the past few games? That's possible. That's possible because the quarterbacks are so solid for Detroit. That might open up a few things over the middle. So, yeah, I think you got a good call there. I mean, if you're in a pinch, definitely at Dixon. I mean, you could do worse. You could absolutely do worse.
All right. Cool, man. All right, let's move on to the next game. Tennessee versus Miami. Tennessee, no Mariota. You were mentioning Derrick Henry before. This Miami team just, they look horrible, to be honest with you. Losing to my Jets last week in England looked horrible. I mean, couldn't do anything. Even Jay Cutler standing on the side in one of the plays looking like he doesn't even want to be a part of the team. Let's talk about Tennessee, their run game. I know you mentioned Derrick Henry. Anything for DeMarco Murray as well, with Mariota being out more than likely. And I guess Miami, do you play anybody?
Yeah, this is another weird one. I woke up this morning and saw that all of a sudden Mariota is questionable, but will be a game-time decision. I do not see him playing. I think Tennessee goes into this game thinking, listen, like the rest of America, the Dolphins suck. Look at what they've done in the last 2 weeks. Let this roll Castle out there. Check down Charlie, Delaney Walker, Jonnu Smith. We got the check down wide receivers in Decker and Rashard Matthews deep if we got to throw one. We got two solid running backs, DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry. But I actually think that Miami gets it together this game and throws a little bit of a whooping on Tennessee.
Wow.
I actually see Cutler going off for over 303 touchdowns in this one. I actually also think Ajayi breaks out this game.
Okay.
He goes over 100 and gets a touchdown too. I think they put up at least 30 points on Tennessee. Tennessee's defense is just terrible. If you own the Tennessee defense anywhere, you need to them and find somebody else. In a league, one of my dynasty leagues, I just traded away the Arizona Cardinals defense for Austin Sperry Jenkins because my tight ends were terrible on that team. I figured, I don't really like Arizona today because I'm hoping Philly plays really well on offense. So I picked up the Miami defense. I mean, they're projected to get 1 point in this league. But I said, they're going against Matt Castle. They're at home. They've got to be a little picked off and angry. It's their first time actually being nice and settled at home. So I think Miami lays a bit of a whooping today. Surprises a lot of people.
All right, big call on Ajayi.
I'd play all of my Dolphins. I'd play Landry. I'd play Parker. I'd play Ajayi. If I had to, I'd play Cutler. I think this is a get-right game for Miami. They're a way better team. Obviously, Cutler, that's how he is. He stands on the sideline, smoke a cigarette, chug a bottle of tea. He doesn't even care about what's going on. He's probably texting his girlfriend somehow. But I think that's a get-right game for the Dolphins. And I think it'll surprise a lot of people. And hopefully I'm right because I need Devontae Parker to have a huge day.
Yeah, being a Jets fan, I kind of hope that it's the opposite way, but I definitely can understand where you're coming from, man. It could be very surprising. I thought they were going to be a lot better team with Jay Cutler, to be honest with you. All right, you actually kind of mentioned the next game I was going to talk about was Arizona and Philly. Trading away Arizona defense, very interesting, man. I mean, I don't know if I would do that, but you're high on Jenkins. I think that's a good call. I mean, he seems to be getting definitely a good rapport with Josh McGowan over there. Philly on the other side, Philly looking like a real strong team, man. I honestly think they're going to win the East over there. Let's talk about where you're thinking. I mean, I started actually Winston over Wentz this week, but I think he could actually have a really good game. Let's talk a little bit about this one.
Yeah, I don't think that was that bad of a move playing Winston over Wentz. I mean, you got a lot of good garbage stuff from Winston. And Wentz, I think for Wentz to have a good game today, I think it's going to break down to a couple things. One, the reason I got rid of the Arizona defense and really didn't care was because I think Carson Palmer's on his last legs. And I think that this week, I think what's going to happen is that Philly defense, man, they play really well at home. And Philly defense at home, Arizona going all the way to the East Coast from the West Coast. I think that's going to have a big impact today, playing an early game. I mean, they're basically a 10 a.m. start for a West Coast team. I think that the Philly defense is going to show up. I think what you're going to get is a lot of short fields with Philly today, because of interceptions, because of fumble recoveries, and because of 3 and outs by Arizona. So I think you're going to see Philly not maybe rack up a ton of yards today, but rack up a good amount of points, because they're going to have a lot of short fields. That's my feel on this game, is that Philly wins this maybe by about 2 touchdowns or so, but mostly because the Arizona offense just stalls. Their running game's terrible. Andre Ellington, 2 weeks in a row, has been a great PPR running back. So if you got him, play him. Their wide receivers are a mess. I mean, you got Jaron Brown, and then John Brown and J.J. Nelson are hurt. Their tight ends do nothing for you. I just think even with Philly's top linebacker possibly being out, I think that Philly stifles their offense, the Arizona offense today. So you get a good amount of points, even if it's a ton of field goals. Play Jake Elliott if you're in a kicker pinch. I picked him up in a couple leagues. Because also, if I'm wrong and Philly just drops the field, Arizona's got a pretty good red zone defense. So that's going to stall Philly to a bunch of field goals anyways. But I'd play Ertz. I'd play Jeffrey. If I got all the way to this morning and missed out on playing Winston like you did, I'd feel okay with Wentz. But I think you made a good move playing Winston over him. Get it out of the way. You got your 20 plus. You got some garbage in the end. But I would be very hesitant to play my Cardinals today, aside from maybe Andre Ellington.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, man. Carson Palmer, they had struggled against San Francisco last week, and it looked no bueno, man. All right, let's move on to the next one. The 0-4 matchup, Los Angeles Chargers versus the New York Giants. I was not expecting this, to be honest, for both these teams to be 0-4. I mean, Los Angeles has been in it pretty much every single game, coming down a lot to the wire and stuff like that. I mean, mistakes here and there. Keenan Allen didn't get hurt last week. Actually looked pretty good. Same thing with Terrell Williams. New York Giants offense was a little better. Lost on a last-second field goal again. Let's talk about what you're thinking as far as players here.
Yeah, shout out to our soon-to-be sister show, Kotarski and Cepeda there.
Alan and Kotarski, Outdoor Sports, man.
Cepeda said that the Chargers and the Giants would be playing in the Super Bowl. I believe that he said they'd be playing in the Super Bowl. It would be Rivers versus Manning, the 2 draft picks that was swapped, number 1 and 2 that season. Well, now they're 0-4. I'm surprised that Mr. Kotarski has not given him a lot of grief for that pick. So they're playing, they're 0-4. I think the Giants win this one. But I really have no idea, because I've been picking the Giants to finally win one and have been picking the Chargers to finally win one. This is another one where you got a West Coast team going all the way to the East, playing an early game. Historically, we know how that goes. West Coast teams don't show up. But I do like Melvin Gordon in this game. You got a slew of wide receivers and tight ends with the Chargers. But the Giants secondary is really good. So I'd be happy with Melvin Gordon in this one. If the Chargers don't get down by a lot. But I think their defense, even the long trip across the country, is good enough to keep this one close. So you'll want to play your skilled players. You got Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, Even Hunter Henry, you might want to throw him in today. He probably gets a touchdown today against the Giants. And I played my Giants as well. Odell. It looks like Gallman is going to be the man. I swung and missed with Dark. Forgot all about that they drafted Wayne Gallman.
Yep.
Perkins isn't going to play. This is going to be Gallman's backfield if he has a solid game today. If you can avoid Bosa and the other guys up front for the Los Angeles Chargers, then I think the Giants win this one. Evan Ingram's going to have a good day. I have a feeling about Evan Ingram today.
All right. Yeah, Odell a little banged up, man. You saw the dislocated finger, was on the floor because of his ankle. Yeah, definitely a rough one for him. Brandon Marshall, let's see if he even shows up. I totally agree with you as far as Ingram seems to be the most consistent that's over there. Obviously, Odell's going to be Odell, but yeah, I can definitely see you're right on that one, man. Yeah, as far as Perkins, I mean, he should just be dropped everywhere. I mean, he's a waste of space. All right. Another intriguing matchup, at least for me. Jacksonville, I know they played the Jets into overtime last week, and they're not the greatest team, but they could put up points. Their defense is okay. Going up against Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, everybody saw the Antonio Brown craziness that was happening on the sideline. It's been talked about the entire week. Do we see Antonio Brown going off of this game for like a 200-yard, 2-touchdown kind of game? And let's talk about Jacksonville as some of the players. I mean, Fournette, even Chris Ivory looking good over there.
Yeah, if Pittsburgh was not playing Jalen Ramsey and the Jacksonville secondary, I would 100% guarantee, not even just say, I would guarantee Antonio Brown has a good game. But I do think, this is funny, because early in the week and even up until this morning, Jacksonville was my pick in this game, getting not to win, but to cover a 6.5, 7-point spread. But now the more and more I think about it, Pittsburgh is the ultimate tale of two teams. They stink on the road, and they're awesome at home. You do have Martavis Bryant. He was sick yesterday.
It looks like he is going to play, though, according to Shefty.
Yeah, he's going to play, but 24 hours to get over sickness, he might be okay, but I would roll the dice if I need the wide receiver 3 to reflect on Juju. I think Juju could come in and be that solid number 2. I don't think they'll have to use their tight ends too much, but they will, specifically in the red zone. So I think Antonio Brown and I think Le'Veon Bell do have really big games today. That's my thoughts. And now, the more I think about it, Pitt might win this game by 20. Because although their defense isn't great, Jacksonville just has really no weapons outside of Fournette. Marquise Lee's banged up. Who the heck knows if he's even going to play? That leaves them down to Keelan Cole and Alan Hearns. Mercedes Lewis was a flash in the pan that one game. He ain't going to do nothing. He's 54 years old. I think Pittsburgh's going to run away with this one. So if you're playing Antonio Brown, hopefully he goes off early, because after a while it's just going to be the Le'Veon Bell show. Le'Veon Bell might rush for 200 today.
Wow. All right. Interesting.
I actually think he does. I'll make the prediction. He goes for 200.
Is that total yards? You're talking about rushing yards.
200 rushing yards.
Wow, 200 rushing yards. Interesting.
He'll have 115 by halftime.
Look at that. Just give you a heads up, Marquise Lee, they're saying it looks like he will be playing. So, again, doesn't make a difference. I think you're 100% correct as far as what's going to be happening. You're right as far as them catching an early lead. Hopefully Antonio Brown is in that early part. And Le'Veon's show. All right. That's very interesting, man.
Brown early, Bell late, I think. That's how I think Pittsburgh's going to attack the game. I think they're going to say, all right, let's get Antonio going early to shut him up. I feel like this is what they're saying. So he'll get going. He'll get his early. Bell will. He'll still get his early, but they'll turn to him late to carry it out.
Gotcha.
Because they won't have to throw the ball. They're going to be up by 15, 16, 17 points. and they'll just run it out with Connor and Bell.
Awesome. All right, definitely talked about a little bit of Schuster-Smith over there too, or Smith-Schuster, sorry. Yep. All right. I don't know. The rest of the games for the entire week look awesome to me. I mean, maybe not the Baltimore-Auckland one just because of the injuries and stuff like that, but we're going to hit every single one of these. I'll even start with Baltimore and Oakland just because it's not the most intriguing game. David Carr, I'm sorry, I keep on calling him David. Derek Carr's out as far as for this week. They said it was a possibility of him actually starting with the fracture in his back and all that stuff. Looks like they're actually going to be pushing him another week. Baltimore defense, again, the great defense. I still think I've been playing them every week. They've been giving me points. Their offense is horrible though, but you got EJ Manuel on the other side. So what do you think? I think a low-scoring game on this one. But are you starting any of your guys with EJ Manuel back there, and then Baltimore again, kind of same thing? It's like a crapshoot, man.
This one right here. Here's my super sleeper for the day.
Super sleeper.
You were in a QB league. I hope a lot of people listen this week because a lot of the people that I know have been viewing this are people playing a standard, type of league, like the ones that we play on Yahoo. But you are in a 2 QB league. And you hear it here first. EJ Manuel will have a game today.
Ooh.
Anybody that watched the preseason would know that EJ Manuel looked excellent. He didn't look like the EJ Manuel that played for the Buffalo Bills. He looked excellent in the preseason. So that's why in one of my dynasty leagues where I have Derek Carr, I hurried up and grabbed EJ Manuel. In case I have to use him, I'm going to use Goff over him this week. But I'm thinking about just putting EJ Manuel in just for fun because I think he's going to have a game. I think that he's going to use his legs, and I think his legs are going to open up a lot of plays for Amari Cooper. They said that EJ Manuel said, I am going to get Amari Cooper involved early and often.
Nice.
And I think that was twofold right there. My instinct is he said that, one, because that's really what he wants to do, and two, he said it publicly so Baltimore hears it. Because Oakland knows that one of the best ways to win this game is to have the coverage back and EJ run the ball a little bit. He looked excellent in the preseason. I think he's going to be the talk of the town after this game. I think people go, EJ Manuel, where did he come from? No one expected this. I expected it. You heard it here. If I'm wrong, I hope people are watching, and I hope people yell at me and make fun of me. I think EJ Manuel has a game today. I think that they use their running backs. I think this is the Marshawn Lynch game as well. I think they're going to go hard and force. I mean, Oakland's in a little bit of a desperation mode with Teeling. I mean, they're going to play their butts off today. Baltimore going all the way to the West Coast. Their offense is absolutely terrible. I would love for Mike Wallace and Macklin to get going. Who the heck knows which running back to play on this team? Is it going to be Alex Collins again today? Or is Terrence West going to show up? Or will they go back to Allen? I have to play either Macklin or Wallace in one of my leagues, and I really don't want to. Oakland defense is terrible, though. So if you have to play a Raven on offense, don't feel bad about it because the Oakland defense is terrible. I think this is a high-scoring game because I think Oakland is going to be excellent with EJ Manuel because they were excellent with him in the preseason.
Okay, big call there, guys. Yeah. Hopefully you're right. Otherwise, you're gonna get some banter as you want.
I get the banter. Right now, I'm in a win-win situation. Either I'm right and I called the biggest sleeper of the week, Emmanuel, or I'm wrong and people actually yell at me and we get some people talking and asking me some more questions.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and as far as the running back situation in Baltimore, you're right, man. Collins just needs to hold on to the ball. I mean, you're 100% correct on that. It's like you have no clue what you're going to do back there. I didn't think they have a clue what they're going to do back there. They're going to kind of go with the hot hand that it seems like.
I do think though this week, and you saw it last week after I talked about it because Flacco wanted to. I do think Baltimore's in the mood to throw the ball more now. I think those first 3 games was exactly what I said they'd be. Run the ball as much as possible. I think now Flacco's feeling a little bit better. He wants to throw the ball more. They let him do it a little last week. So I think your Baltimore receivers, I don't know if like Perriman will ever be anything, but I mean, if you got Macklin and Wallace, I do think they throw the ball tons. I think that it's a high-scoring game. I bet the over-under is probably around like 37, and I think that they will score close to 60 combined.
Wow. All right, so taking the over on that one. Just to kind of throw it out there, too, if you're looking for a tight end pinch, Watson might be a big one if he's saying it's going to be a high-scoring game. So, all right. Let's go on to the next one, man. Seattle versus Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are just, I don't know. They're like the second best team in football, it seems like. I was not expecting that out of the Rams. Seattle's hit and miss. Their offensive line is horrible, so a lot of movement back there. It's not giving any time to Russell Wilson as far as finding his open receivers downfield, getting Jimmy involved, so on and so forth. But let's talk about Seattle. What players are you playing? Their backfield is kind of the same way as Baltimore. You have no clue what's going on back there. And do you see Gurley still being Gurley? Watkins had pretty much nothing, but the Los Angeles Rams look great with Kupp and a bunch of their receivers over there.
Yeah, I think it was April or May or June, and I said that Jared Goff was a real deal and he was going to have a great season. I said he'd be a top 10, top 12 at worst quarterback, posted that. I think that holds true. I think out of him and Alex Smith, the two guys that are surprisingly up near the top, if not the top two, I think Goff outlasts Alex Smith in that conversation, and that prediction rings true. There's a reason he went number one. There's a reason he stunk last year, and it's Jeff Fisher for the last one. So McVay, he's my favorite coach. What a sweet-looking dude.
Yeah, I agree.
So as far as Seattle goes, let's start with them. Seattle running backs. Chris Carson was my number 2, my most important league, done for the year. I was lucky enough to somehow wake up at 5 a.m. and nobody had picked up Eddie Lacy, so I dropped Carson and picked up Lacy. Pete Carroll, man, what a jerk. He talks every single player that's in competition with other players. He talks them all up. So, you have no idea. One thing we do know is Procise is not playing. So McKissick is going to be your PPR running back there. He actually will probably have a really good game today.
Okay. 2 big touchdowns last week.
Between Rawls and Lacy, why was Rawls a healthy scratch last week? Why did they put Lacy in over Rawls? They scrapped Lacy for 2 weeks, and then Rawls is healthy, and they scratch him and put Lacy in, and Lacy does all right. If you have to play one of those, play him. I would rather have Lacy, I feel like. But what I think this game will come down to is Russell Wilson will have some pretty good running yards. Tyler Lockett usually does awesome against the Rams, so that'll be interesting to see if that continues. I have to believe that the Rams know that Tyler Lockett always kills them. If they do, and they adjust for that, Paul Richardson should have a good game. Dougie and Jimmy, they should do well. This is a game, too. The Rams, even when the Rams were the Rams and they stunk the past 2-3 years, they always play the Seahawks tough and usually beat the Seahawks. I would think that the Rams will win this game. That's like the easy call, which almost makes me want to say the Seahawks are going to win. I think you're going to play all your Seahawks, and I think you play all your Rams, even Robert Woods.
Wow.
My number 2 sleeper of the day. My number 1 is DJ Manuel. My number 2 is Cooper Kupp. Here's why. Seattle is going to look to stop who? Sammy Watkins,
Yep.
Todd Gurley, right?
Yep, definitely.
Cooper Kupp is going to slip into that slot. Now, if you go back through the games and you take a look at who Seattle played this year, which slot receivers they went against, all the way starting back in week 1 with Randall Cobb, that slot receiver does really well against Seattle. So if you got to play a wide receiver 3, Cooper Kupp might be your guy this week. He's my number 2 sleeper of the week.
All right.
I play all my guys in this game. There's 2 really good defenses, but it's 2 teams that know each other. You know that at least one team in this game, and I'll guarantee this as well. This is my other bold prediction. My first bold prediction was Le'Veon Bell goes over 200 rushing yards. My second bold prediction is Seattle and the Rams. At least one of those teams will attempt a fake kick.
Okay.
At least one of them.
Okay.
That's my prediction. So that's why you're going to see offense in this game, because even on plays where there should be no offense, there will be offense. It will continue, and drives will continue because of big kicks or big punts. I see it coming in this game. Pete Carroll, McVay, one of them will do it.
Yeah, Pete Carroll especially, man. He loves to try to throw that fake kick in there somewhere. At least, yeah, it's early too. So, yeah, let's see what happens, man. Very big, bold predictions. I love it. All right, we're going to talk about your next team, your Green Bay Packers against Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. I mean, Green Bay, it's all the Aaron Rodgers show. I mean, it really doesn't matter who he has out there. He's just he's going to throw the ball. You know he's going to do well. Ty Montgomery being out, does that affect it? I honestly don't think so. But also, as far as Jones probably being the main back over there because of Jamal Williams being hurt too. Let's talk about Dallas too. Do we see a good running game from them on their Green Bay's, like you say, Swiss cheese defense? Do we see Dez going off? Maybe, I don't know. For some reason, I think Beasley's going to have a really good game. You're kind of talking about the slot receivers and stuff like that. I can see Beasley kind of running through the Green Bay Packers and kind of going from there. But what do you think?
I do not like this game.
Okay.
Green Bay should not lose this game, but I feel that they will.
Gotcha.
I think Dallas is going to win, and I feel like it's going to hurt me very, very deep inside. Green Bay, their running backs, you hit it dead on. I think Jamal Williams is going to play, and it's going to be Williams and Jones, and I don't think they miss a step, even with Montgomery gone, with those two duking it out. Jones looks like a much better player. Throughout the offseason, a lot of people were drafting Jamal Williams, and in the back of my mind, I knew that Aaron Jones was better.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just letting them take Jamal Williams. If you can grab either one of them, though, grab them, because Montgomery's going to be out. I think they're going to hold him out until their bye. Their bye is week 8. I think they'll come back week 9. That's just my prediction.
It makes sense.
Jordy played Jordy. Randall Cobb played Randall Cobb. He does pretty good against Dallas. Devontae Adams is going to play him. They want to get Martellus Bennett involved. I see, and I said this when they got Martellus Bennett, I was like, I'd rather have Jared Cook. I've never really been a fan of Martellus Bennett. We considered him quite the lazy bum. Even back to his days at the Bears. I mean, he flashed when he was with the Cowboys initially, but that was when he was young and it was Witten show. So when he was on the Bears, he was like a lazy bum. You'd have him on your team, he'd give you 10 to 20 points a couple weeks, and then he'd do nothing next week, and you'd see him on the sideline crying about, his toenail or something. But so they want to get him involved. I think they're going to have to. Green Bay's got Swiss cheese defense. I don't care what the stats say. Stats lie. Dallas, I just don't like it. Dallas, how pissed off is Dallas right now going into this game? This game is circled in blood.
Oh, yeah.
Blood red on the calendar when the schedule came out. Green Bay has beat them twice in the playoffs in the past couple of years. The Dez Bryant catch, no catch. And then the 250-yarders by Mason Crosby last year. This game is what Cowboys have been waiting for, Cowboys fans have been waiting for. You'll probably have 30%, maybe not because Dallas fans are so, maybe 20% Packers fans there because Packers fans do travel well. I just think Dallas is going to win this game. I think Zeke is going to go crazy. I think they learned their lesson about not using Zeke enough against the Packers. I think they do that. I think you nailed it. Cole Beasley is going to have a game today. I think Dez is going to play harder today than I think you've seen him play all year and will see him play all year. Dez does not like Green Bay after the things that have happened against the Packers in the past couple of years in the playoffs. I think Dallas wins. I think you play Cole. I think you play Zeke. I think you play Dez. I think they have great games. The Packers will do well too. A-Rod will do well. I think today, everybody's saying this, so it's not that big of a prediction. It's a high-scoring game, but I like Dallas to win. There's a reason this game opened with Dallas -2, and most of the money's on Green Bay, and now it's Dallas -3. Dallas, they're just going to lay the smack. Green Bay can't stop them. Dallas offense has looked terrible. This is the game. They've just been waiting for this, and it scares me to death.
Yeah, man. I mean, all the replays that I've seen on ESPN and stuff like that, the Jared Cook catch, it was amazing. You're right, the Dez Bryant no catch, those 50-yard field goals. I mean, they've definitely hyped this game up where Dallas, you're right, should be foaming at the mouth almost in a sense.
Yeah, you nailed it, though. And, I mean, that was one of my sleepers for the day, too. But I'll give you credit because you got to say it first. Cole Beasley.
Yeah, all right.
I think he has, he's had 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 catches in each game.
Yeah, it's a target machine. I mean, it seems like Dak loves to go to him. It's a safety net. It's like kind of he took over for Jason Witten. When Tony Romo, that was his safety net. Dak has Beasley as his safety net almost in a sense.
Yeah, I say he has nine catches for $115 today.
All right. Ooh, all right, interesting. All right, bold predictions. I'm kind of thinking the same thing, man. I've actually picked up Beasley in a couple leagues. I'm going to be starting him, so. All right, let's go to the 8:30 game. Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I don't even need to talk about them, how outstanding, number one team in football right now. But I really want to talk about Houston. I want to talk about the 50-something points that they put up last week. Is Deshaun Watson the truth? I mean, he had his players looking outstanding. That defense looked outstanding last week. Let's first start with Houston. Is Deshaun Watson the truth? And as far as run game, is Lamar Miller somebody that he revamped himself? I mean, they were down on him. They were really on Dante Foreman, and all of a sudden, he's back.
Yeah, listen, ever since, last year, I'll admit I was a little late on the Deshaun Watson Clemson bandwagon, but I jumped on it a little bit late last year, and boy, I became a fan of his watching that national championship game.
Definitely.
So I really hope he is the real deal, but I just feel like I've seen it so many times before where a guy comes in and he looks really good for a couple weeks, and then he just comes crashing down to earth. Yeah,
like I told you last week, man.
That does not happen. Houston, ever since their inception, it seems, they've been like my second favorite team. They're like my favorite team in the AFC. I'm a huge Packers fan. Everybody doesn't know. So, I'm rooting hard for them, but I really like KC, too. I mean, they're a really cool team. Somebody's got to slip up. Both of these teams are bound to lose. So this is a tough one. I mean, if I got to play Deshaun Watson, I'm going to keep rolling him out there while he's hot. But I'm just nervous. Is this when he comes down to earth? Now, if this was a 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock game, I'd be a little more nervous about playing Deshaun Watson. But since it's the bright light Sunday night game, he might be up for the challenge. He might be ready to show up on the national stage that he's got what it takes, that he looks better than he did that one. I believe it was a Thursday night game. It was his first game, right?
Yep.
Am I correct? Yeah. So, I mean, which he played okay, and he got a lot of praise in his first game, but I think he wants to show that he's the real deal. So, I'm a little worried he might try and push himself too much to do too much. This one's a tough one. I'm going to play all my Chiefs, and I'm going to play all my Texans. You're right. Lamar Miller looked great last week. Will he look as good against the KC defense? I don't know. I think maybe this week is a little closer to a 60-40 instead of a 70-30, 80-20 split with Foreman. But you're going to play Fuller after his 2 touchdowns. You're definitely going to play Hopkins because they're going to need him. Ryan Griffin, man, play him, put him in there until they start giving the ball more to Steven Anderson. Keep playing Griffin.
Okay.
You're playing Hill, you're playing Kelsey, you're playing Hunt. I really like Albert Wilson. I think in the next 4 or 5 weeks, I think Albert Wilson is going to become the undisputed number 2 in Kansas City, number 2 wideout, number 3 or 4 option if you count Hunt. I really like Albert Wilson. He looks like a really good player when I watch him play. Chris Conley starts over him right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Albert Wilson gets loose, scores a big touchdown in this game tonight. So keep an eye out for his name. Since I'll give you Cole Beasley, I'll take Albert Wilson as my number 3 sleeper of the week.
Awesome, man. Yeah, definitely Fuller, great pickup in a lot of leagues. Definitely a big pickup in waiver wires this week. 2 touchdowns. The focus was on Hopkins. Fuller came through. He actually caught the ball. That was his biggest thing for his rookie season, just not being able to catch the ball. He looked pretty solid to me, man.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Monday night. Possibility of Sam Bradford coming back. They're talking about he's going to play, man. Losing Delvin Cook last week for the season. What a big, huge blow. You lose your quarterback. Now you lose your running back. Hopefully your quarterback comes back. But it's going to be a passing game now. I mean, you got McKinnon back there. They just signed, Stephen Ridley? Let's see. Let's talk about that running game. Is it worth picking any of those guys up? If Sam Bradford does come back and he is playing, even Case Keenum, are you starting your tight end there, Kyle Rudolph? And let's talk about Thielen and Diggs.
Yeah, you and I had a conversation about 2-3 years ago, mid-season, and I told you to go out and pick up a young stud by the name of Latavius Murray. I said he was
Murray. I forgot all about him, man. Yep.
And he killed it. I mean, his first game, he had 2 touchdowns and like 120 yards in about 5 minutes, and then he got injured.
Yep.
Then you never saw him again the rest of the year, and then he came back the next year, which I believe was last year, and he did okay for the Raiders.
Got him his contract,
great. And then he wound up in Minnesota. And he's not 100%, but I like him. And I like McKinnon. And I think what those two are right now is a little bit better than like McKinnon and Matt Asiata were last year.
Okay.
So Minnesota offense takes a little bit of a hit with Dalvin Cook being out, of course. But don't sleep on Latavius Murray. I mean, if he's out there, scoop him because the dude's got talent. I mean, it was just 2 years ago I was calling him the next Adrian Peterson. He's been a little banged up. He's definitely not as good as Adrian Peterson was in his prime. I found that out the hard way. He looked good his very first game with Oakland. But if Sam Bradford's back, or even if he's not back, yes, if he is back, I feel a lot better about Thielen and Diggs. Michael Floyd is back this week as well.
Yeah, you're right.
For Minnesota, because Laquan Treadwell sucks. So now they have 3 real wide receivers. Kyle Rudolph's been kind of lost in the mist. And I talked about last week, Case Keenum. While he's good, he's not as good as he looked that one week. And you know what I found out? That week that he torched the Bucs, the entire defense and half of the backups for Tampa Bay had the flu.
Yeah.
They got the flu Saturday night laying in their beds, in their rooms, and woke up in the morning sick as dog. And that's why Case Keenum looked as good as he did. I didn't know that. And that I don't think that was ever released until, a week after that game. Like, everybody thought Case Keenum was amazing. What's wrong with Tampa Bay? They were all sick and puking and throwing up all night with the flu.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know about that either, man.
Yeah, so Minnesota definitely is better off with Bradford. But do they need to be in this game? That's the weird part. I mean, does he need to come back? I mean, it's Trubisky's first game.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably an upgrade over Glennon, but is he a huge upgrade? I don't know.
Not yet.
He's got legs, he can run.
Yep.
They've got the two running backs. Why doesn't Chicago put them both on the field at the same time? It's like they put Howard, and then they got to sub them out for Cohen. Why don't they just put them both out there? Put them both out there. They have no wide receivers. They have Kendall Wright. That is it.
Yeah.
Put Tariq Cohen in the slot. Put Howard in the backfield. You can run Cohen behind you and go two running back behind you. You can do sweeps. What'd you call them last week?
Roundabouts.
You go roundabout. Put them both on the field. Kendall Wright, I'm going to play him this week, but I feel like he's going to be a dud. I feel like he's going to be a bum this week. Kendall Wright's going to be a bum because Minnesota's just going to shut him down.
All right.
I mean, that's just, they're going to focus on him and stopping the run. So I don't know if Minnesota even needs Bradford back. I'm playing Thielen, but I don't know if they need Thielen.
Yeah.
I would play Diggs if I had him. I don't know if they need Diggs. This is just a really weird game. If I had the opportunity, I would put no one in from this game unless it was Cohen, Howard. Those are the only two I would feel comfortable playing in this game. Just because I don't know how much Minnesota's going to need anybody. I don't know how McKinnon or Murray are going to do. And I don't know, Kendall Wright's the only one receiver, so I'd only play the two Bears running backs. And if I had to, I'd play Thielen and Diggs and Rudolph. But other than that, man, this game, I might not even watch it tomorrow.
Wow. Look at that. For some reason,
I will watch it.
No, of course, you're going to watch it. But
I want to see how Trubisky looks, so I'm going to watch it. But
for some reason, the person that keeps on popping in my mind is Bellamy, man. I just feel that Trubisky's going to have a comfortable, more rapport, being second team. Bellamy's a second team kind of guy. You're right as far as right, but I don't know. I can see Bellamy, even Zach Miller coming through as a safety option almost there. So if it was me, I would play probably those guys if you're in a real big pinch and you need to start somebody. But that's just my opinion. All right. You know what? I'm actually going to go and then throw a flyer at you. I got Thielen and I got Fuller. Who am I starting?
I would go Fuller.
Wow. Okay.
I would go Fuller because if you're Kansas City, who are you stopping?
Yeah.
Right? If you're Kansas City, who are you stopping?
Hopkins, 100%.
Exactly. They're at home. It was Fuller's first game back and he went off. Now they're at home. Big stage. Kansas City's going to score. I don't care how good Houston's defense is. I just don't know. Is Minnesota going to need Thielen?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you called it just now, man. All right, I'm going to take the flyer.
It pains me to do it because Thielen's definitely the better receiver, but I just don't. Are they going to need him? I just don't know if they'll need him. I think Minnesota is that much better than Chicago. Now, here's the thing. A couple weeks ago, I said Chicago's the worst team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've shown that. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They just aren't good enough. They just have no receivers. So if Minnesota gets out to a 2-touchdown lead, Minnesota's just going to run the ball. Especially with a rookie quarterback in his first game on Monday night on the road. I just don't think they're going to need Minnesota's receivers. The only chance you have of Adam Thielen or Diggs doing good is if they do good super early, or if Chicago somehow takes the lead or stays in this game. And I take my odds saying Houston's going to either be playing from behind or Fuller's going to be open versus Minnesota's losing this game.
All right, cool, man. All right, this is Answers by Guest, guys. Week 5. Anything else you got there, Nick?
No, I got my bold predictions. I got my sleepers. Do not shy away from Miami today. I think Miami wins this game quite easily. That's my main thing. Because I can already tell people are benching Parker and Landry and Ajayi. You're silly. This is the game they get right.
All right, awesome, man. All right, guys, Answers by Guests. Make sure you comment. Make sure you reach out to us. We'll be available until about 12:45 today as far as answering any questions. Nicholas, thank you for joining us by phone. And that's it, guys. Answers by Guests, NFL Week 5. Good luck. Happy fantasy.
All right, everybody. See you.